I haven't really done any videos on illegal road signage for ages because, like, the campaign completely has been focused on just general politics of the country and what's been happening with all the different activist groups and our side in the opposition. Like being focused on Jeremy Corbyn, Neil Oliver, Lawrence Fox, Russell Brand, Chris Packham, and Extinction Rebellion, Just Stop Oil, things like that. All the investigation into the illegal road signage is complete, really. It proved that it was all planned. It has to have been planned, and it was, it was, a police and local council collaboration. So from now on, what progress have we made? Well, we've got this Al Jazeera investigation that's proved that there's hacking, manipulation, third-party intervention, and hindrance and obstructions going on in the Labour Party, which is exactly what I thought was going on anyway. There's been, electronic hacking of the timetables, times, bus signs, motorway legend signs, phone hacking. I think the local count. I even think that the Al Jazeera is proved that it's Labour Party is being manipulated and controlled and hacked. So, with that model, then that's the local council. I think they've been using the local council as their vehicle to exert their political actions, to manifest their political will, basically, attack buildings, get themselves building and planning permission, get all these illegal road signs put in place. Just look at the Labour Party, what Barry Sheeman's got all, his media centre built, with the new university, everything passed. Kirklees Council just seem unstoppable. Now every single thing they want to do, they seem to get it. No one seems to be able to stop them from doing it. And then when you get a guy opposing, coming in, a new different political party coming in who can actually make a difference, like George Galloway, we got to take all his notices down, all his election notices, which is what the police did to me, and took all my petition notices down, which are protected by the same legislation. They don't seem to have changed the council. Now, Rishi Sunak has actually, said to the police, look, you've got to fucking change and investigate yourselves. There's got to be consequences, there's got to be legal actions, But this story here, it's to do with illegal road signage, and it's something that Jonathan Fuller's posted, and I haven't followed him for a while because I was following him and keeping up to date with what he was putting in connection with Extinction Rebellion, but I've ended up being on YouTube for ages, and I haven't really been following Extinction Rebellion. They haven't really updated anything on their YouTube for a while since they went off on their coach trips around England. It's been mainly Just Stop Oil and Don't Pay UK who seem to have taken a bit of the spotlight. And Insulate Britain. Well, I don't think Insulate Britain. I ain't heard up much from Insulate Britain. I haven't been checking everything, but Now here we've got a guy, a protester, climbs up. I think it's on the M25. Climbs right up onto the tops. I've actually many a time I've driven past those and look at there's the ladders on the side, but the ladders are a little way up, so they're not easy to get to. And then once you get up, if you get onto there, then you can climb up the man. Climb kind of like a fire. It's kind of almost like a fire escape metal grill, and then you climb up it, and then along the top. So he's up there on the top. I don't know if you can see him. He's got orange pants on. I put a video out with. I think it was. I use a bit of I use like a porn clip just like for comedy value, because it was all the beeping noises that the construction traffic do, and I used a clip. And she's going on about, I like pretty panties, because it just happened to have the it was something that I recorded. I just recorded the sample of it, and it just happened to be at the time I was recording. It was when that the construction vehicle noise was going off here that we can hear from like over 150, 200 meters away. I've complained to JCB that the noise, it's a really horrible sound at the wrong pitch and frequency, and it's just heard from too far away. I mean, and it's like a defiant, annoying sound that apparently legally you can't stop them from making this sound. You know, it's unstoppable, and it's almost like the victory call of the construction. Like, you know, they got the planning permission in, they're building the houses, and you know, we can do what we want. We can make as much noise as we want. Now you can't stop us. You couldn't stop us building. You know, your petitions didn't stop us. Your objections didn't stop us. Now we're building, and we need to get that message across. You know, next time you won't try, will you? You know what I mean? And it's like it's like, you know, it's like the seatbelt's like the noise that you have to obey. Like beep beep beep, you will put your seatbelt on. You know, do what the noise commands. And the JCB sound is like, you know, you will not object anymore. Your objections will fail. You will not be able to stop us. You know, it's like that. It's part of the whole strategy. It clearly is, because all these contractors are owned by the same investors and shareholders. The construction workers and JCB are all tied into the royal family and shareholders, as well as the bus companies that they own and the Talking Bus, and the car companies, the vehicle manufacturers. It's all the same people behind it right at the top. And it's the same strategy they're working towards, which is machines sending signals to controllers, which is why the next step on it was the microchips in the thumbs, which they've even started doing in some countries. And then it's the microchip in your head, you know, and then how the fuck do you cover a microchip up in your head? You know, you'll have to zip yourself into a body bag, you know, like you zip your phone into a body bag. But anyway, so yeah, he's got these pretty panties on. He's got these pretty bright orange panties on. And he's actually managed to get a banner up there as well. But as you can see in this photo, the national speed limit signs, I said that this video was going to be about illegal road signage, because I haven't done a video about illegal road signage for a long time. Pretty much wrapped up the investigation and moved on to other things. Well, it's shelved for when we need it, because we've been collecting, you know, this Al Jazeera investigation is part of it, because it's, you know, how do they, you know, a lot of these illegal road signage haven't got any identification on the back of the signs, doesn't tell you what date it was made and what date it's valid till, who made it, and it's you've got to have, the signage has got to be labelled so it's got an ID on it and a date and all this, which a lot of the illegal stuff hasn't. You know, who put it there, who ordered it, you know, there's a lot to investigate. I mean, you know, a lot of them are, you know, they're made to look vintage as well and dressed up. You know, there's clearly some kind of like fabrication intent. You know, some are made, they're meant to last a certain length of time, and then they've made some to fade in a certain way or to not last in a certain way. Like the rings will last, but the numbers don't, or the numbers last, but the rings won't. You know. But here, on these legend signs here, you can see that the national speed limit sign is not properly visible. It's not properly filled in. Now, you might say, well, that might be the camera. Some digital cameras can't take photos of them properly or don't see them properly. Well, I can tell you that I've been driving along the motorway with my own two eyes, and I've seen them like that. It has to be with intent. I don't think it's a fault on the equipment. But why would they do that? Why would they have them half visible? You know, are they really, the LED's not working? And if they are, if it's the latest state of the art signage, you would think that they would illuminate properly and, you know, and all this. Well, I think that the Highways Agency, the Department of Transport, Highways England, and their minions and chief executives and fucking Horse Ferry Road, shirt-wearing strategists, you know, the guys hidden behind the building that you need a fucking access card to get in and fingerprint on the fucking wall to get into the offices and question them over their activities and see what they're up to. I think that they want it to be like that. And they want it to be like that because even though the entire road safety manuals and the entire history and legacy of the regulations, the road traffic signage regulations and rules, are that they've got a framework and they made up the rules that, this is what the road signage is and how it should be for safety reasons and for psychological timing reasons when you're driving along. It's all timed, response time and everything like that, which I fully understand that. I've studied it in great detail and been to many, many sites and seen it in effect. And when they put it a certain way, you can see where they've put it to mislead you. I mean, most people would get it. If I went on site and explained it to a lot of people, I'm pretty sure they'd understand it and agree. I mean, I've even been into Thirsk Highways office and had a proper interview with a professional expert in there and explained, it all. And he said I'm not wrong. So, I know where I am with it. I've even been out there and identified them, surveyed them, and I've been right. The only thing we haven't got is criminal action against the authorities, Why would they want the lights to not light up? Well, they kind of want, they don't really want they don't really want to have the signs lawfully in place, or it matter if they're faded. They made the rules up that they've got to be in place and they shouldn't be faded because at night time or if it's foggy you can't see them and you're not going to be informed at the right place or the right time. So therefore, you shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be a legal requirement if there's some defect with it. It shouldn't be enforceable, because they've failed to maintain it and the public can't be adequately guided. In fact, in many instances, there's no question that they've known that if they put something in a certain way that can trick you or mislead you or misguide you, they can get you to make a mistake and carry on. And they know it's not actually that unsafe to do it because the actual road itself is being made to be a certain safeness or speed anyway, and they changed it and claiming that it's not as safe as it actually is, and they're just dicking around with us basically, because they know a lot of us are in this kind of like brain fog world and dream state with all the sugar and bread we're eating, and they don't know. Most people don't even know they're being misled, in the same kind of way, really, that we aren't really fully all clued in to the fact that we're being misled with the sugar and bread anyway and the detrimental effects it's having. I mean, people know. You can talk about, you shouldn't really have sugar, have Diet Coke, or, you shouldn't. People know they shouldn't eat too much, but they've got habits. It's habits. People say, I need to cut down on this, I need to cut down on that. It's habitual. You say that, but it's getting yourself to do it that's a different thing, which means that self-control is difficult, which means that controlling your own behaviour or your own habits that they are promoting and advertising is not easy, which means that they've got a substantial amount of influence over us, but yet they blame us. Oh, you need to have more willpower. You need to have more control. But yet they're going out of the way to have more influencer adverts, more influencer adverts, more influencer adverts. The signs on the roads are literally of the same effect as chocolate bar adverts, They say, if you're overweight, you need to cut down on chocolate. If you're going diabetic, you need to cut down on chocolate, But yet, what do we see? Adverts here, adverts there. Have a McFlurry here, have a McFlurry there. They're encouraging you to continue and have more. It's plainly obvious. It's just such a despicable strategy. It's just an insult to the evolution of mankind. It's an assault to people. It just turns people into pigs. It turns people into second-class citizens. It turns people into like zombies who can't respect themselves and can't respect their behaviour and just go along with this culture that they're weaving, and just this is what Chris Packham's been talking about. The distractions. Go to the football, get the football shirt, go to the football match, cheer the lads, and then if you win, then go to the pub and have some beers. Or watch Simon Cowell phone in the show, vote for this singer, vote for that singer. Chase the cash. I mean, I'm as much as bad as everyone else. I'm buying a lottery tickets and chasing the prize money. I just don't want the prize money to use it to buy a villa or a fucking yacht or this or that or a holiday in fucking Bora Bora. I want to try and use it for something they really don't want us to win. They really don't want us to win, on the lottery, and use it to try and stop the lottery, putting these instant win games up, to try and stop the lottery selling useless scratch cards that end up as fucking waste litter in the bin, excess fucking bin rubbish, to stop people chasing money, prize money and these excess things. But it seems that the only escape is to try obtain some money to stop them. But, that money, none of those prizes are any money that is worth anything, that is going to really do much. I mean, even if you win the next to top prize or the top prize, I mean, what's 250 quid going to do from Thunderball? Nothing. It can pay me I can buy some help to get someone to help me on Facebook, get some petition signatures. But now they've made it even harder to use messengers, even more locked down. They're even getting people to help me. I mean, they're saying that it's going to, in the amount of time, they're wanting, to get 1,000 signatures, they want 200 quid. How far is that towards getting 100,000 for Parliament? Might be all right for the local council to get 1,000 signatures. I mean, you can get a full council meeting for 3,000 signatures. Some people can get something done for 100 signatures or 50 if it's only asking for a fucking gate changing or something. But, when you win now, like I said in some of the other videos, it's not lucky to win, because you're not. The odds are ridiculously ridiculous, and then even when you are lucky, they're not even rewarding you for that luck. They're trying to make they don't want it possible for you to have anything which can beat them or be really of any real benefit at all. I mean, even now, even if you won, like, $1 million or, a few 100,000, I mean, what is that to a local council who's fully funded, And just doing things on a daily basis, doing streets up, changing parks, building houses here that people, community groups are trying to object to this and that. If you used any amount of campaign money, it's literally going to run out in seconds. And then they just do something else. I mean, it depletes your money in seconds. I mean, look at George Galloway. He was running for Spen and Batley to be a local councillor. He got his election material up, and then the council went and took it down. Where did the council get that money from to spend time and money to go take it down? It's our money, the public's money, right? But they used it to take George Galloway stuff down, who was fairly going to get elected by the public. This is the police went and took my stuff down, but also prosecuted me illegally when I'm protected. When it's in connection on the Local Petitions and Referendums Act, in connection with referendum, can get laws changed in the country. It's despicable. Anyway, with these signs, right, they're trying to make it normal for a sign to be not right and make it look, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter, it's normal. It doesn't matter if the sign's out in this lane, not quite fully complete, because you can see what the sign is by being in the next lane next to it, so you know what the symbol is, right? That's their pitch. So, let's get this right. On the brand new state-of-the-art signs, right, which are all electric and cost us a fortune, they're having it so they're not working properly and giving the full sign clearly, right? And it's not even the proper national speed limit sign. It's actually a border with a line through it, not an inside illuminated thing. That got warped and changed. Now, they're making it so, oh, that sign's not complete, but as there's a complete one next to it, You should know what the sign's meant to be. You know, how can it be anything else? Well, you know, the fact is, it's dicking around. They've got themselves into a pickle, right, the government, because they made rules, they made regulations. And instead of following those rules and regulations, they started to play the fool. They started to play the idiot. They thought, right, we're going to use these rules and regulations and dick around with people. We're going to pull the Todgers. We're going to send them on a wild goose chase. We're going to dick around with them. We're going to take advantage out of them. And we're going to make a hell of a lot of money out of it. And we're going to label and brand them as bad people, criminals. And then we're going to get the police to do little courses in schools and correct them, tell them they're very, very naughty. Correct their behaviour, right? We're going to target them with guns, shoot at them like they shot at Jeremy Corbyn's head. With the military got them using them as target practice. Knowing that also that the military know that the regime and system we've got in place for the standard citizens' consciousness, faculties, eating habits, they got these people, the King Charles, the Earl Dartmouth, the House of Lords Peerage, all the companies they own, all the shares they own in the companies and the influence and direction they've got over the companies. And we're not talking lingerie companies in knickers and bras here of baronesses. We're talking contractors of roads, Kier, Balfour Beat Me, Balfour Beat Me, big massive companies with massive multi-million billion-dollar contracts with the government guaranteed to make profits on shares, particularly when the local councillors who are affiliated with them are banging the hammer down and approving fucking building and highways like there's no tomorrow. And if they oppose airports and other things getting built, apparently they get the powers taken off them, right? They strategically planned and they put the donuts out in the shops, particularly in local services and petrol stations. They put the arm grabber machines in the cinemas that can't possibly pick up the toy and can't win, right? All of the movie people that Jeffrey Epstein was involved in those movie rings and the Prince Andrew, all your massive companies like Universal Studios, all that, right? They got the drive-thrus and the McDonald's that the Queen owns and the Royals own the McDonald's and that. They've done this and they've got us onto that type of food stuff. Then they've got the coffee to keep you awake, but then, you know, when you're falling asleep again, you have to pull over at the services for an hour and go to sleep, you know, and then they say that it's dangerous and all this. The entire... You've got to understand the big picture. The way they are playing it, the way they are running things, right? But then you might say, well, but what about these awarded people? What about Elton John? He's a knight. What about Lord Hanningfield? He's a pork farmer. Well, he's supplying the pork for the project. You know? Well, why isn't he keeping himself fit and healthy? Well, he's a victim of the system that they are using to control, and it is... Some of them are being afflicted, like the Baron Vladimir in June. You know, that's the model. It's known. It's well known. It's the June model. You know, it's there. Sting. Oh, he's one of our champions. One of our acclaimed music artists. You know, never mind Elton John fucking doing Candle in the Wind for the Queen for Diana funeral. He's our champion. They've got Sting. You know, they pull strings. The person they get to make the film... It's all orchestrated. Where does the funding come from the film? They don't just give it to anyone. Oh, here's 50 quid, you go buy yourself some penny sweets, you know? They're making serious fucking movies, right? And they mock it. It's a mockery and laugh. It's kind of reinforcement in a way, you know? It's perfect, you know, it's the perfect Elton John and Hanningfield, you know, and half the House of Lords. Some of them aren't as stupid, some of them aren't affected. But they've done that scene. They've done this exact scene. I mean, the June scene with the flying Baron, the floating Baron, who's severely afflicted by his, you know, addictions and illness, but yet he's got his magical power to fly, you know, literally like the House of Lords barons, you know, they've got the protection, the magical protection of Parliament, and they've got all the money and the accolades, but yet, you know, some of them are afflicted with serious obesity and illnesses, you know. Terry Wogan. They've got it in the brand new Doctor Who. In the brand new Doctor Who Series 13, where is that exact same model archetype that Chibnall put in there? Because of that is when they've got the Grant Serpent guy. He's knocking around in Parliament. He's knocked himself up in the military as well. And then he's having dinner with that guy and he's trying to get another position. And then he's sat next to the overweight, greedy, porky, executive guy, you know. They've got, you know, look at Prince Andrew, look at Charles, look at Philip, you know, they were fit, you know, they had the best medical attention. This is it. Unfortunately, they recruit these role models and it's not a healthy... It's not, I mean, I know what the fucking model is, right? We know what the fucking model is. But what can we do about it if we're all either, if we've got a chip on our shoulder or we're sour because we ourselves are afflicted, do you continue afflicting your fellow mankind, your fellow colleagues, you know, because you fucked yourself up? Do you continue, you know, porking everyone up like Annenfield with his pork farms? Or, you know, there comes a time when you need to recognise that it's bad habits, that it's malicious behaviour, that we're misleading and taking advantage over each other. And this is like the police, you know. You know, they've said on that programme that I've got on my channel, from the news, I think it was the BBC News or one of the other major news channels, Sunak has said that, they've got to, the police have got to now investigate, they've got to do something about it, you know, for their corruption. They've been told now. I mean, Theresa May told them when she did the speech, but she never pressed for anything to be done. Theresa May said, senior police officers, you know, there's lots of serious corruption, but nothing became of it. She made the statement. Now Rishi Sunak's saying something, but what happens with Kirklees Council Highways is they go and vandalise another road right around the corner from me that is right up on my list. Well, it's one of, it literally was the final place, the final photographs on my phone that they haven't destroyed and vandalised out of the entire county. They've targeted every single place that I had photographed on my phone that were my favourite places, like, and they fucked it. What is left for me to fight for now, to defend in my county, when they've gone and targeted all? You know, I'm only fighting for my own life. There's nothing left to save except my own life now, you know. There's no glory at the end except survival. You know, I have nothing left to fight for. Every single thing has got a scar on it or been destroyed, demolished by this council, by their affiliated builders, and, you know, for more money. You know, they're seeking more money, they're seeking more building contractors. It's no different to... They're still stuffing themselves with bacon sandwiches and pies and egg butties. They're damaging themselves, never mind damaging the things that other people like and love in the area. You know, it just for the next hit, for the next bacon butty hit, for the next pork pie hit, for the next fucking 100,000, you know, for the next fucking £20,000 building hit. That's it. The next, you get in the next little hit, and you can't stop, you know. You don't stop. You carry on going to the shop, buying the scratch cards, eating the fucking sarnies. We just perpetuate, you know, someone needs to do something. And this is the behaviour and the habits and the manufacturing thing that is resulting in all the pollution to the planet, all the excess oils, all the excess things that these activist groups are doing. That's why they're blocking McDonald's as well as the highways. That is why they are, targeting the banks, because it's the banks of the investors, BlackRock, Vanguard. This is it. And they're even going on telly on the news now, saying that, these presenters are frankly disgusting. They're part of the culture of excess and more and greed. The only place that they haven't been on is I'm a Celebrity, Getting Me Out of Here. But then now they've got Matt Hancock going on there, glorifying it, and they have not been on X Factor, saying, what they need is not just, the protesting going on the news and telling the presenter he's disgusting, but they need someone on X, they need Gail Bradbrook or someone like that to turn up on X Factor and tell Simon Cowell how disgusting that his pursuits of pure greed and excess, how disgusting it is, to charm the nation into this obsession with lavish excess mansions and swimming pools and yachts like Elton John's got. Although he's been a victim himself, he's been put through the fucking meat grinder, Elton John. He's been groomed. He's been abused by the press. He's been harassed. He's been psychologically abused and trained that, he will have the privilege of having multi-millions and playing gigs in Las Vegas, and he will be worshipped. He will be adored. They'll sing like fucking Jesus Christ. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. But he'll, don't be using his money to help protesters. Don't be challenging the King Charles, or he'll snuff his fucking candle in the window, or his yacht will set on fire, or, the fucking newspapers will be listening into his mobile phone and have his fucking apartment fucking wired for sound, as Cliff Richard says. Just like in fucking the 007 movie when he's checking everything for microphones. But you don't need to check your room for microphones now, because the Sun and the Daily Mail and every newspaper on the planet are listening into your mobile phone, and Russell fucking Brand. And then they're reeling out on the next programme everything that you've been fucking doing. Jeering at what fucking colour boxer shorts you got. And fucking Russell Howard as well. With fucking, Murdering Successville, taking the piss out of all the people you've been hanging around with in the pub in town, putting them into the fucking programme, smashing into your friends who help you and send you free shit. Someone sends you a free skateboard in the post, so they have somebody fucking smash into them in the car, write it off. Don't hang around with these people, this is it. Where if people help you, if you're Jeremy Corbyn, you will be shot at as a target by the fucking military. You'll be fucking dicked around with. They will intimidate you. If people start wanting to be your friends and support you, they'll fucking get people to smash into your fucking car and shit, This is it. Or even if you're Ciaran Morrissey, then they'll have a little baby fucking run over called Ciaran Morrissey. So no cunt will vote for you in Sunderland for Lib Dems next time. This is it. We're dealing with a highly organised regime of ex-police chiefs, the Highways Agency staff, who have an understanding between each other. They've got a group, a club, Tony Earnshaw from the Huddersfield Examiner, Barry Shearman, the people that Al Jazeera investigated, they're pulling strings behind the parties that they're investigating. They're pulling strings in Labour. They're pulling strings. Now, who is it? It's not just Labour who are doing it. We know it is. It's the same people who've been pulling the strings in the illegal road signage. It's the same people who've been pulling the strings in the building and planning industry, HS2. Care, bail for beat me. The ruse, oh Rouse, it's the ruse. It's only a ruse, it's only a ruse. Oh look, some signs not glowing up properly on the motorway. It's just a ruse. It's a fish, it's a catch-22, They're not right, but they should be. But, you know, it doesn't matter. And because it doesn't matter here, it shouldn't matter anywhere else. You know, we'll try and get people used to them being fucked and make it look like it doesn't matter when it does matter, because we built up an entire psychology on it, and we use that psychological method to mislead them in the exact same manner that we have psychologists working for Warburton's, the Warburton's empire. Oh, it's Robert De fucking Niro, the gang ringleader, with our army of advertising psychologists who know exactly where to place the shit in the fucking supermarket, the exact shelf, the exact place to get maximum fucking people buying the shit. There's been programs on it. We know how it works because it's been proved by the fucking BBC in programs. But it's alright, you know, it's just fucking influencer marketing. Well, what's it called again? Influencer marketing. Say that again and click your heels together 3 times. Take me to Kansas. Influencer marketing. Wake up. Smell some smelling salts. What's it called? Influencer marketing. Oh, fuck me. I'm still asleep. What does it mean? Influencer marketing. Oh, am I awake yet? Does it mean it's fucking there to influence me? And shake a dice. Shaker 1 to 5 influences you. If you're lucky and get a 6, it doesn't. What are the odds on that? Right? Oh, is that the same psychology they're using on the fucking roads? Oh, well, it fucking might be. Who's paying for it all? Who's benefiting from it? Warburtons. Who's benefiting from it? Ruse. Who's benefiting from it? Balfour Beat Me. Who's benefiting from it? Care. Who's benefiting from it? The local council. Who's benefiting from it? Regenerating the entire Wakefield town fucking centre. Out of fucking target practice at your fucking head. You know? Anyone had thought I'd be able to climb trees and rock fucking faces, you know, and survive. Oh, I'm hunting a mammoth, I'm riding a fucking mammoth. Isn't that dangerous? Next thing, you know, fast forward 10,000 years, fuck me, I can't even walk up a pavement without him having to lower it and put fucking dotted fucking non-chip things on it, you know. Sweet God, you know, oh, it's a set of stairs. Oh, I need a handrail to get up them. Are you a perfectly fucking functioning human being? You know, what is this, a courtroom? How many fucking 90-year-olds are going to be going to this court? Not many. I mean, who is the fucking rail there for? Elton John? The Lord Anningfield? I mean, Elton John's got 2 fucking gay boy guys. Well, he's 2 of his... I won't say that was a joke, but he's got 2 of his, you know, male gentlemen, you know, although, you know, he's a self-admitted homosexual, but he's got 2 of his, you know, young, strapping, muscly male gentlemen helping him off a fucking yacht in a fucking newspaper photograph. And that was the newspaper taking the piss out of him, not me, you know. You know, he's meant to be Sir Elton John. Don't tell me that a knight of the realm, a champion of the realm, needs fucking 2 muscly guys to help him off his fucking yacht. What knight of the fucking realm is that champion? Fuck me. I mean, what are these champions doing? The Lord Anningfield, the Pork Market fucking enterpriser needs an handrail to climb up a pair of steps into a fucking courtroom. What is happening to the human race? The safety state. Oh, it's not safe in the school. You have to have a fence around it. You know, go back in time. Oh, it's 1703. You know, there's an entire village of people here and they're all armed with fucking muskets and swords. You know, but we don't need a fence around the school. I'm armed. You know, oh, my fucking children are armed. They're going to school with baseball bats. They don't need a fence around the school. If anyone fucks with them, they'll knock them straight out of the cunts. I mean, what is happening to this country? We are being fenced in. The police are obsessed with cameras absolutely everywhere because the risk, they're taking more and more power and control, more and more risk in what Ruse are doing, more and more risk in what Care are doing. Because if they're doing that many illegal stuff, right, if it gets proved and prosecuted, the entire company is fucked. The entire organisation has been engaged in strategic, organised racketeering, gangster, arranged, strategically planned criminal activity and actions in collaboration with their police officers, whose public image and reputation is safety. Oh, your safety is to protect you, it's for your safety, for protection. Is Jeremy Corbyn's head as target practice for the military, for Jeremy Corbyn's protection, or is it for intimidation? This is it. Was George Galloway's political material being removed illegally by the council because he didn't want him to get elected in Battle of Spen? Was that for George Galloway's protection, or was it to defeat him? This is the problem. These signs here are there to dick with us, to fanny around with us, because Highways England are being prats. They're not being professional. And they've got themselves into a pickle because they've got an extremely bad culture. The Prime Minister of England, Boris Johnson, an officially recognised liar who had to step down from being Prime Minister for lying. This is one of them. But yet, it's, Simon Callaghan in Highways England Leeds, who got a fancy tie on and a fancy shirt. I'm eccentric. Now I'm going to conjure up some new junctions and fucking highways, and it's all got to be in order like this. Oh, is it, Simon? Well, why is it all wrong and being done on purpose? If I could get into the building and record a fucking statement with you, I would. But now you've changed it so I can't get in without a fucking pin chip in my thumb, I'd be happy to come into the building and sit down and question you about it under oath and use that. You have the right to remain silent, and anything you say can and will be used in a court of law. Do you understand? But we're not allowed. There's so much risk in that building now. Not risk for stupid computer or control of the motorway illuminated legend boards. They don't want us to talk to them. You can't speak to a local council now. Not our council. The entire website's locked down. There's a backlog of case files. They don't want to speak to you. Most of the councillors, if you start questioning them on anything they don't like, they block you, even though they're responsible for you. They're supposed to be responsible, right? It's terrible. Terrible service. They don't want the responsibility when things go wrong. They only want the job when things are going right. We've got serious issues. Look at Graham Hancock. Now when he's being accused of doing something wrong, he's claiming he has to go make himself more famous and be a celebrity to write it. You don't see Barry Sheeman on there. No comments deactivated. Although saying that, Corbyn's got his comments deactivated. But, it's... Why should... Barry Sheeman's had his entire... Even though I'm heavily critical of what he's done to Huddersfield, I despise what he's done to Huddersfield. He's absolutely trashed and ruined the place, as far as I'm concerned. But he's not... He's spent his entire life in government. He's deeply been absorbed by the state like Keir Starmer because he's one of His Majesty's loyal opposition, which has been literally absorbed into the system like fucking Han Solo and his carbon freezing fucking thing. He's been absorbed in because this is Barry. It's Barry. He's playing for the team like fucking, Tony Earnshaw. He's one of the team, not the red team and the blue team. It's the team for the Enterprise, one of Patrick Stewart's buddies. He's playing for the Enterprise, not for the Tories or the Labour Party. He's playing for the globalist Enterprise. This is it. Sheeman's not an army celebrity to get me out of here because he's not stupid enough to get involved in that whole fucking Simon Cowell thing. He keeps his head down. He goes into Parliament, puts his videos out, does his political stuff, does his local fucking... surgery office, but he's not sold, he's not fully sold out because he's not quite stupid enough to get involved in all that, But this is it. But as soon as anyone starts putting up stuff around the ring road or whatever, then he sets fucking Tony Earnshaw on him. Let's Tony Earnshaw turn him into a celebrity. Oh, now I'm an enemy of the council. Get me out of here. Oh, I've been putting fucking petition notices up opposing the council. Oh, we'll set Tony Earnshaw on you and send a fire engine around the ring road. Oh, I'm in opposition of the council. Get me out of here. This is what happened to George Galloway. Now I'm in opposition to Kirklees Council. Get me out of here. This is it. I'm sending the fucking BBC News reporter, Christina, what the fuck ever after him. This is it. There is no defence, It's almost like who dares? The majority of people aren't stupid enough, and the ones that are, if they have got the right agenda and they know the fucking team plan and they stick with it and they're allowed, they're given a flow of money. It's Elton John. It's Barry Shearman. We can trust him. We know he's not going to go off and oppose us. This is Jeremy Corbyn, Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the Labour Party. Then now he's opposing the globalist corruption of Charles's elite regime. Then he's out. He's booted out. And he's used as target practice. This is it. This is the problem. And this is the same with me. Because we're pulling them on stuff they're doing wrong, illegal, corrupt things. And when normal citizens do things naughty, they get prosecuted criminally through the courts. But when these people do things, they don't even, they've built their reputation up so big that they have to keep it in the positive. You can't have that big a reputation that goes into the negative because, it's fucking the noose for him, isn't it? Then this is what's happened to Matt Hancock. He's got so highly polarising excess that it can't go into negative or it's fucking game over. It's a nightmare. This is why it's not a good idea to go in excess, but they want it to be a controlled environment. They want it to be like space. Oh, he's got his spacesuit on. Wow, he's in space. You can't survive in space without the spacesuit, and the oxygen breathing and all the equipment. Oh, he's a big celebrity, He's famous. It's fucking Russell Howard, It's all right. He's got his safety stuff on, He's got headquarters are controlling, what gets put out there and who says what comment and that comment from behind the scenes, pulling the levers, and then he's showing off, oh, look, I'm balancing on the edge of scaffolding. It's David Blaine. Wow, David Blaine's high above the town on his fucking, he's fucking doing a pirouette on a fucking end of a scaffolding pole for 7 hours. It's safe, it's, with his fucking team. It's all set up. This is it. But that's not reality. It's fake. They've had to create that environment so that, in reality, if you get so much attention, this is what's happening in local Facebook groups, right? People don't really want to complain and have to show their identity because when you used to complain to the council, right? You put a complaint in and you kept your statutory rights, right? If you're in the village, right, this is what's happening with me now, right? If the fucking pub do something which you really don't like, which ruins your village, right? But yet all the pissheads in the pub and the landlady, right, they've got a little clique, a little gang of, however many hundred people, and, she's, got the woman clique in the village, right? There's no what you can do, because if you go complaining on the Facebook groups and they're straight on you, massive group, bullies, shut up, what are you complaining about? Oh, it's him, then that's it. You have no defence or fair, it's like the jury is straight onto you. So, now on Facebook, they've got gangs, right? It's the village gang. The gang. And then usually the council don't want to do anything against the gang because then the local council will lose favour, right? You've got, it's now, we're going into mob rule with Facebook because, anyone who doesn't follow the gang, right? And that's not fair voting. Imagine that with a ballot box, right? In the local council, right? You're not even supposed to be able to take photographs of your ballot, of your voting. When you go into the ballot in the local council, it's meant to be private, right? You're meant to tick the box, fold it up, and you're not even supposed to be taking loads of photos and that, right? It's private who you vote for. But now, when we're voting on, how we want the village or what the council should be doing on the roads, it's voting. Effectively, when you're opposing building an opposition, when you put an objection in, it's really your vote. But what's happening now is, when people have got an opinion of what they do or don't want in the village that should be fairly counted, just go into a website, click a poll, right? And it should be counted. What we're getting now is people voicing opinions, and if it's an opinion that a group don't like, they're jumping on them. And that's what happened to George Galloway with Kirklees Council. Effectively, George Galloway was treated like I'm being treated by my own village because they're taking over the place, cheating, planning, regulations, and the council are refusing to act, refusing to force that pub to put the illegal fence back as it is. Using every excuse under the sun. Oh, it's the kids. Oh, it's safety. Any excuse they can, right? When this is massive gangs in the village, right? You can't have a voice against what they're doing now, or they'll do you on Facebook. They'll do you, and then they'll block and ban you from the community. You can't be in this community because you don't like what we're doing. And that is what Kirklees councillors, the bullies themselves, have done to George Galloway. They did him, right? Because he came in and wanted to do an election fairly. And that's what's happening to people on Facebook in local areas. They're getting ganged up on by massive pub groups of drinkers and alcoholics who are literally turning villages into prisons. Security state. This is it. We're actually what the government are doing, and actually there's been a lot. I think that with all this Labour Party, Al Jazeera investigations, uncovered hacking in Labour, interference, intervention, manipulation through computers and systems. That's how the illegal road signage ended up illegal, and how no complaints or investigations were effective to correct it, because the councillors were in trouble for it and the police, and they acted to prevent it coming to a proper investigation and punishments being given to people in government, right? That's what happened. And it's happening in building and planning. When it's people like the Earl Dartmouth, they're getting the co-op built, they own shares in the funeral company of co-op, they own shares in the retail part of the co-op, then they infiltrate the village, and then they're wanting to do King James School up in the name of the King, God save the King. And infiltrate, bring, a beautiful, traditional, quiet village. Then it gets attacked and assimilated. They're strategically planning. They don't actually want us to have nice, happy places. And now they're trying to transform everywhere into Tory voters and Tory houses and bring people into areas That's what they're actually doing. And then, you know, then they'll end up getting more Tory votes. Because that's what Starmer has done with Labour. It effectively, now that that's why they've said there's no difference to Labour and Conservatives, because a lot of Labour people really wanted to be Tories. They wanted to, you know, be rich and have loads of money, when it's not really be all and end all. You actually get treated not very well from the working class, from the lower classes, when you were middle class or privileged. That was one thing. But Simon Cowell's mission is to make it okay. He's naturally, people don't like it when other people are spoiled and have excess, right? If you leave nature to itself. So what Simon Cowell has to do, and David Beckham and people like that for the footballers, they have to create the spacesuits, the equipment, the protection, so that now we will swipe a magnet over the population, and if we say this person is a champion and they've been magnetised, then the working class will actually love and praise them for the excess. So the guy in the village, who's got excess and all the working class people despise him, if fucking Simon Cowell swipes his magnet over him, whoa! Come on down to my fucking swimming pool Villa Island and then be adored. You're in excess, but magically in excess on the positive side. It cannot slip to being in excess on the negative side, because that's what happens to the police chiefs and the highways when they get legal action against them for illegal road signage. It's big, it's massive, it's care, it's Balfour Beat Me. This is big money, big contract to highways agency stuff. Keep it in the positive. Don't let it go into the negative. If you're going to go big, but keep it in the positive. Make sure we've got our protection and spacesuits and people behind the scenes with their hacking and fucking Labour infiltration and scamming, which is what has been going on and what has been proved. Not only with the road signage, but with the whole food industry, with the whole thing, because they are criminals. They are criminals, and they have created and invented and wish to maintain a criminal structure. Yet they purport to have rules and regulations and laws. And as Mick Lynch says, every time they change the rules, then you follow the rules. And then if you're good enough, you try and beat them with those rules. And then if you're going to beat them, then they don't like it. So they try to change them again. This is what Mick Lynch is saying. It's almost like, it's like in a Wet Wild West when they're shooting you to dance. You do the dance, but then they change it to a different dance. They refuse to be beaten. So they're cheating because they've done so much corruption that it is big. It's big, bad. And they don't want big to be bad. They want their big to be good, because when big gets so big, it has to be good, because the bad, when it switches to bad, when you've gone so big, it is bad. Believe me, it is badass. And this is the problem. They want to try and keep it in the positive. And they're playing a very dangerous game, because it's all studios, audience applauses, very carefully tuned environment. In the fucking TV studio, it is essentially been jettisoned into space, It's like a movie. It is a movie. It's fiction. You get a few people in who are cheering and jeering. Everyone in the country loves it. Everyone's going along with it. It's big money, big prizes, fake, false, dressed up studios. This is the problem. It's fiction, but they're broadcasting it to the whole country, and they're trying to convince everyone that that's what reality is, that's real. But then when they go out into the normal life, then everyone's got problems, everybody got issues, everyone's grumbling. Because they're going for excess, and they're trying to make it all right for them to do it and normal for them to do it when it actually isn't. That's the problem. And in reality, people actually object to things, and they're actually not wanting them to do all these things to our local areas. We know that because, like in Mirfield, there's been the entire village objecting against what the council wanted to do. But in the council chambers, through the newspapers, through Tony Earnshaw, they're painting the picture just like the TV studio paints the picture, right? They're painting the picture. Everyone's agreeing to the cultural art being done. Everyone's agreeing to the new university. Everyone's agreeing to that. It's fabricated. It's a set and setting, and then the council's putting the blueprint up everywhere. When it's illegal to promote and advertise material that will influence the electors in what the council are doing. Yeah, they're doing it. But yet they're going to take George Galloway's stuff down. When he's actually running officially for election and sponsored for it during that period, you can put material up. The council are using that strategy themselves. It's criminal. They create an environment, a psychologically controlled environment, where everything they're wanting to do is being promoted and broadcast as if everyone's wanting to go along with it. The same as the television studio. It's effectively Coronation Street. And they've done up literally the entire Huddersfield Town Centre with all this promotional stuff. They told them they were going to build a rugby museum so they'd all go along with it, and then they changed their mind. And then they pulled them on that, and they're having to avenues and ours over it. We're being tricked and deceived. And I don't blame the councillors alone or the council staff. There are bigger forces pulling the strings from behind and manipulating it. Same with all the building and planning scams with the Tandis. It ain't just down to them. It's the same principles and procedures that Al Jazeera have uncovered in the Labour Party. There's third party infiltration. There's third party intervention. And I've been experiencing it myself. It's the same type of thing like what the Anonymous movement have been doing, but they've been doing it for their own activist causes, like some of these activist groups. It is an activist group. The Royals are an activist group, but it's their council. So they probably believe that they've got, it's Charles's council. He's got the right to use his Aladdin computer systems. Oh, Aladdin computer systems, the computer systems that control the United States of American government. Where did you get those from? Oh, BlackRock Vanguard made them. Oh, amazing. BlackRock Vanguard are knocking out computers that governments and councils use. And hey presto, the police chiefs are selling computer systems that control governments to fucking China and Thailand. Even fucking surveillance systems. Who's in control of those and knows how they work? Oh, ex-police chiefs who have resigned. Oh, well, who do we think's responsible for the illegal road signage network? Oh, the ex-police chiefs that have resigned. And who is the Admiral of the fucking British Army's faithful fucking His Majesty's Police Service and Royal Officers? Guess who? So who might be controlling the fucking computer systems that are intervening in the Labour Party and preventing and stopping certain people from progressing in the Labour Party and then sending the military to shoot Jeremy fucking Corbyn at target practice? These men! Now, we are being run by bullies. Yet when we speak up about it, the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and get angry, we're being labelled bullies. Yet I am one man. We're talking about an entire force, a police force, a council department, the government, a military force. But yet Jeremy, for some reason, is saying, oh, let's not pick fights with them, let's not shout and argue. Yet he's a victim. You can't always resolve it by being nice and peaceful. It needs, and this is Parliament talk. They don't, oh, it's Mr. Sweetman, I'm in Parliament. Oh, excuse, it's like Coots on Police Academy, when no one can hear her. Oh, it's Coots on Police Academy. In fucking Parliament. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Speaker. I would like to complain that someone has used some illegal activity. They ain't going to get you anywhere. You have to be straight and firm. Because if not, nothing is going to be done about it. And we're getting attacked. Targeted individually because they don't want to lose. These people never lose. The British Empire is the most successful nation in the world with their Indian Empire and Australia and Canada. And the thing with the Americans is they're not independent. Because the American government is operating on the Aladdin computer system. And the American government, Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker, the stocks and shares and all their profits and money are dependent on the business dealings with these groups and enterprises, and they're all saying business together. How can the American government be independent of Britain when they're all benefiting and earning stocks and shares and business money together? They are united in their business, companies and dealings. So America's never seen fucking independence from England. When they're in fucking tobacco company fucking coalition. How can a fucking international tobacco company coalition be fucking independent from anything? When fucking King Charles has fucking got shares in it, fucking Rees-Mogg had shares in it, and Nancy fucking Lucy Pelosi and fucking co are investing here, there and everywhere. They're all making money out of it. There's no independence. They're completely, totally and fully dependent on their handshakes in their business meetings. It's not independent at all. Now, someone needs to find out what the Prince Philip will, what the shares are in that will, so we know what the global hidden threat is to the world and who is pulling the strings behind the Aladdin computer system in American government. Who is in charge of BlackRock Vanguard? Trillions turnover of a country's GDP that doesn't need its own military like the fucking Iron Bank in Game of Thrones, because its military force is the Aladdin computer system that goes directly into local council authorities and inserts fucking job cards and inserts fucking voting and building and planning notices and conjures them up. And then someone's sent on site to take it down. And someone's sent to put road signage up illegal with no identification on the back of it. And then a police car, then fucking Bob Oils is sent to race around Bradford in his police car with his siren going to intimidate everyone when he's not actually going anywhere. Because they use the radio with some voice on the end goes, "Hey Bob, this is headquarters." Then I've got to go somewhere else. But before he gets there, the police are being used. But yeah, it's the police who know that certain things have been done wrong and unlawful when they're not eating donuts all day and accepting cookies themselves to be spaced out of it. They don't want to suffer the consequences and be labelled criminals like the scum that they're, putting through every day, who likely aren't scum. They're just misfortunate victims of society who have been given rubbish wages and probably haven't had a fair, equal upbringing. This is the point. Yet the police are called heroes, and this is the final point. What is the point of these police, which is said on this paper? What is the point in them? This is it.